Championship for 2022. I'm Joe Castellano along with my longtime partner Lincoln Rose. For the next week, we have 8 teams from 8 different regions around the country that will battle to try to reach the national championship game next Saturday. Our first game featuring number 6 seed Rollins from the South region taking on number 3 seed Southern Arkansas. They are from the Central region. In Lincoln, we have 2 returning teams from 2021, Southern New Hampshire and Angelo State. We have 1 team that has won the title, that's West Chester. They've won it twice. And we have 4 teams making their first appearance, Southern Arkansas, that we're going to see here, and then Illinois, Springfield, Point Loma, and North Greenville, the number 1 seed that we're going to see tonight. They are all here for the first time. It's a pretty good mix of teams.
Yeah, you like our chances of crowning a first-time national champion. Of course, last year is the Wingate Bulldogs, who actually lost their first game of the week, ultimately coming all the way back through the elimination bracket and finding a national championship to take back home to them, although a pretty short drive as Wingate right here in North Carolina.
Taking a look right now at freshman right-hander Jeremy Adorno. You would think he'd be pretty nervous being a freshman pitching in the D2 championship, but think about this. This season, he tied a school record with 14 wins, and he did not lose a game. 14-0 on the year, so I would think that gives him confidence, Lincoln.
Well, he has helped the Mule Riders this year do something that no Southern Arkansas program has ever done before. That's win a Super Regional. It's their 26th year in the NCAA Division II. It's their first time to a championship week since they were in the NAIA back in 1991 when they made it for their third and final time. Today is the first time that his baseball program will ever play a baseball game in the month of June.
Wow. And playing with beautiful weather conditions, 82 degrees and sunny. So Adorno on the mound, good strikeout pitcher, 130 strikeouts and 105 2/3 innings, and a 2.98 ERA coming into this one. We'll run through the lineups as we go through the top of the first inning as Rollins is coming up here. The Tars at 40-15. And their head coach, John Sjogren, in his 17th season as the head coach at Rollins. And here they are with their 3rd trip to the Division II championship, the first time since 2004 that Rollins makes the trip here.
Yeah, you know, if you can get out of that Sunshine State Conference, you have a chance to do some big things. Unfortunately for them, all the schools we've seen from that conference in recent years have not been the Tars. Of course, Tampa, a perennial power, among others that we've seen consistently here in Cary.
Joey Rubin to lead things off, and the Division II Baseball Championship is underway. There's a called strike to Rubin as we get started, and a little earlier than we normally do. We're starting here at 1:30 Eastern time. They've moved the time up, I think because the games were taking a long time, and they wanted to have a little bit of time in between. Game 2 will start at 6 p.m. Eastern time with Point Loma and Illinois Springfield. As Rubin hits a hard ground ball to short off the glove of Orr, recovers and throws to first, not in time, so Rubin will be on base.
Well, freshman able to set the table, regardless of how you're going to score it. It is an error on Orr, as Rubin puts one into play and forces them to execute, unable to do so, and there's your leadoff man for Rollins.
So the E6 puts the freshman Rubin on base, and he can steal it back for you, 11 out of 13 on stolen bases as he is there. Here is the lineup for the Tars. You have Rubin, who you saw there. You got Chase Acuff coming up here. And then Adams Torres, Jesslyn Whitehead, Nick Santucci, Parker Smith, Ryan Coleman, Cameron Meehan, and Jared Herron, the 9 in the order for the Tars. Acuff takes a breaking ball low and away, and it's 1-0 to Chase Acuff, the senior shortstop for Rollins.
Yeah, Acuff already with his degree in his back pocket, a grad student out of St. Petersburg. Started his career over at Eckerd before transferring.
Adorno checks first base, edging off for a decent lead is Rubin. Here's the pitch. Hit hard up the middle. That's a base hit off the bag at second. Rubin stops at second, and both hitters hit the ball pretty hard to start out. We have 2 on with nobody out here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, that might be a rare feat where you hit the rubber as well as second base along the way.
Yeah, batting the second baseman, number 3, Adams.
Adams Torres will climb in. Torres hitting .306, 7 homers and 48 RBIs. Well, Adorno will come at you with a fastball that goes 90 to 94 miles an hour. Throws a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer that'll sink. He has a slider and a changeup. And the 14 wins tied for a school record, one of the best seasons put together in the history of Southern Arkansas. There's a called strike to Torres. But the last 2 outings for Adorno have been rough ones. Did not pitch well against Washburn, gave up 9 runs, 6 earned, 10 hits in 3 innings. And then in the Super Regional against Augustana, he didn't pitch well also. 2 on, nobody out. That's high. He gave up 6 runs, all earned, 10 hits in 7 innings in the Super Regional against Augustana. But you know what, Lincoln? He won both of those games, even though he didn't pitch that well.
Well, and that's where every now and then you're going to need those bats to pick you up. Those were high-scoring affairs, 8-7, 13-11 against Augustana. It's a reminder how both these teams in the Super Regional got past recent national champions. We saw both Augustana as well as Tampa win here in the past 5 years.
Yeah, Tampa, a perennial contender to win the title. They won in 2019. But Rollins, the team that erased Tampa in the South region, able to sweep through the regional and the Super Regional in the South. Rollins, here they are trying to do damage in the first inning. Adorno working slowly, the 1-2. It's outside and low to Torres. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Torres, a senior, started his college career in Orlando at UCF. Sitting on 48 runs batted in this year and would love a couple more here.
2-2 to Torres. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And he got a piece of it for a foul tip strikeout, but a good slider there by Adorno for out number 1.
Yeah, this can still be a solid inning for Adorno as well as his teammates behind him.
First baseman number 12, Jesslyn Whitehead.
Good tight slider. Well, I mentioned maybe some nerves for the freshman. Maybe that helps him calm down a little bit. I mean, he did get a ground ball right at his shortstop to start out, but an error, and then the hard base hit to center. Here's Jesslyn Whitehead hitting .347, no homers, 37 RBIs. Pretty good crouch. And he takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1.
Jesslyn has a chance to give his brother Jalen a lead to work with, and we see Jalen take the mound next half inning.
Jesslyn is a sophomore, and his older brother Jalen is a grad student. Good speed on the bases with Rubin at second and Acuff at first. They can both really motor. The pitch to Whitehead is high and away, 1-1.
So the error, the single, a strikeout. Big opportunity for your cleanup hitter here with 2 on and 1 out. Chance to strike early on day 1.
Whitehead has not hit a home run this year, so he's not really the power guy. The power guy is on deck in Santucci. 1-1 to Whitehead. A slider in there for a strike, and it looks like Adorno's starting to get a feel for that slider.
Joe, again, we take this environment for granted. You've already mentioned it with a couple of these early moments in this ball game. But for them, it's uncharted territory. Same can be said for their programs.
Runners take their leads at first and second. The 1-2 to Whitehead, and it's low and away. 2-2. Yeah, this is such a great facility. Coleman Field here at the USA Baseball Training Complex. The field, of course, and we say this every year, it's in immaculate condition. And we are blessed with beautiful weather here today, and we're expecting it really for the next few days. Sunshine, just some patchy white clouds, a little breeze blowing from right to left. Adorno checks second, the 2-2 to Whitehead. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to wave at that slider, That's 2 times in a row that he used the slider to get strikeouts.
We'll get another look here. Adorno back-to-back strikeouts, and as a result, you've still got runners stuck right where they have been for the past couple of at-bats.
I beg your pardon, that was a fastball. It had some movement on it, but that was a fastball. Here's Nick Santucci, the DH, leading the team with 14 homers, a .267 batting average, and 44 runs driven in. First left-handed batter that Adorno sees. That's in there for a called strike, 0-1.
Again, with the COVID year, we're seeing more and more grad students getting that extra year on campus, including Santucci, your DH.
Santucci takes in the dirt. It skips to the right of the catcher McGee, and going to third is Rubin. Good base running. He did not hesitate. So on the wild pitch, he's over at third.
Yeah, at the same time, Acuff stayed glued to first, and now you imagine they're talking about whether they have something in play that would force this defense to execute if they were to try to take second.
Nick Santucci. He has a lot of power, but he also swings and misses a lot. Something that Coach Sjogren talked about. He'd like to see him make a little more contact. Had a good rip at that one and fouled it back.
Tars coming off a 13-run clincher, 13-6 at Tampa, sweeping the former national champions.
Yeah, this offense looking to produce early here with first and third, 2 down. But Adorno, 1 pitch from getting out of it. The 1-2 hit hard to short, but right at the well-positioned Orr. Gets the force at second, and the inning is over. How about that for Adorno? First 2 men. Rollins nothing. Southern Arkansas coming to bat in the bottom of the first against grad student left-hander Jalen Whitehead. 10-2 with a 1.60 ERA. Opponents are only hitting 193 against him. As you see, teams that are going to be playing later on in the tournament, they have their workouts here and they watch the games from up on the hill. That's Angelo State. They're getting ready to play tomorrow afternoon against Southern New Hampshire.
So Whitehead, all the honors he's collected. He is your Sunshine State Pitcher of the Year. He is your Region Pitcher of the Year, and as confirmed this week, the grad student first team All-American. Just about as good as it gets.
He's had a great year from Ocoee, Florida, and facing Chris Sutton to lead it off for Southern Arkansas, the Mule Riders. He's hitting .314, 6 homers, and 41 RBIs. He'll be followed by Brett McGee, Brandon Nickel, Jacob Machuca, Ty Manning, your top 5. Here comes the first pitch to Sutton, and he fouls it back, 0-1. Then you have Tucker Burton, Chris Lyles, Connor Allen, and Riley Orr in the lineup today for head coach Justin Pettigrew in his 6th season as the head coach with the Mule Riders. Southern Arkansas in the gold unis, ground ball to shortstop. Nice easy hop for Acuff. 1 away.
Well, each half inning begins with a grounder to the shortstop. No base runner to show for it for Southern Arkansas. If you're Rollins, I think you like your chances that you're going to give Jalen Whitehead a lead when your first 2 men reached base, but with the exception of a pass ball or perhaps a wild pitch, the runner's never able to go anywhere. Unable to bring them around.
Well, if you're a Mule Riders fan, you feel like you always have a chance to score runs. This team is tied for 5th in the nation, averaging 10.3 runs a game. Also tied for 5th in home runs with 111. As Brett McGee takes that pitch, he has 16 of those 111 home runs, hitting .309 with 74 RBIs.
Yeah, they've already erased some pretty big deficits during this postseason run.
McGee skies one foul back of the plate. 1-1.
They trailed Augustana most recently 11-6 in the ninth inning. Would go on to score 7
Wow.
to help come back in that one.
Those were with 2 outs, I remember, right?
That's right. All of it with 2 outs.
So they won 13-11 in that game. What a wild one that was. Curveball for a strike, 1-2 to McGee in this lefty against lefty matchup. In Southern Arkansas, they've been hot. They've won 9 in a row, including, as you mentioned, sweeping the central region, the super regional there against Augustana. The 1-2, and that floats just off the outside corner, I believe, 2-2.
Yeah, the Mule Riders have not scored fewer than 7 runs in any NCAA tournament game this year, and in one of them, they put up 28 against Henderson State.
Wow.
I think they just scored again.
That's fouled back out of play. It remains 2-2 to McGee. Whitehead does not throw hard. His fastball is between 82 and 87 miles an hour. Throws a slider and a changeup. I mean, he can get it up to about 89 miles an hour, but that's really not up to snuff with a lot of the fastball throwers we will see this week. That misses high, and a full count now of 3-2.
Well, McGee does have the career walks record for the Mule Riders. We'll see if he adds to it here.
One out, nobody on. The payoff pitch to McGee. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ball dropped by Heron, and he'll throw him out at first. The strikeout and the 2-3 put out, 2 down.
Well, a much more promising start here for Rollins on defense than we saw the last half inning from Southern Arkansas. See if Brandon Nickel coming up can take advantage of this final out here in the first.
Nickel leads the team with 81 RBIs, has 14 homers and hitting .337. You mentioned McGee as far as walks. Just about everybody in this lineup knows how to draw a walk. That one's hit well to deep right field, way back, but on the warning track is Smith to haul it in, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Whitehead, and at the end of one, alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. Delighted to be here for the Division II Baseball Championship. Game 1 of many. We've got doubleheaders scheduled every day here coming up. Then we get to the championship next Saturday. Lincoln, this is so fun to see all of these teams compete. They're all special, coming from the 8 different regions. They all have their own personality. And you have to think that for Adorno to get out of that jam in that first inning with 2 on and nobody out and getting a couple of strikeouts and a ground out, that had to really boost his confidence.
Well, and you even mentioned it after the strikeout of Torres for that first out, how perhaps that'd be an opportunity for him to kind of find his footing out there, able to trust his defense on another ground ball to get out of the inning for that third and final out. Finally gets settled in. Yeah, we just see 4 of the 8 teams today. We'll see the other 4 teams tomorrow. So if you lose this game, you don't face elimination tomorrow. You do have an extra day. Stick around in town and get ready and try to find that first win in 48 hours.
Parker Smith will lead it off here in the second inning for Rollins, hitting .293, 11 homers, and 37 RBIs. Adorno works from the stretch all the time, and there's a swing and a miss as Smith was fooled by that pitch, 0-1.
Smith, the redshirt sophomore, hitting just under 300 out of Orlando. Didn't have to leave state for college.
Stands close to the plate, waved out and missed, 0-2. Smith followed by Coleman and Meehan. For the Rollins Tars. Adorno takes a lot of time in between pitches. And a swing and a miss, another strikeout. That's 3 for Adorno out of his 4 outs in the game.
Yeah, Smith trying to set the tone here this inning for Rollins after they were held scoreless last inning, but Adorno gets the better of that exchange.
Good breaking ball right there.
Number 35, Ryan.
So the slider seems to be really working well for Adorno. Here is Ryan Coleman hitting .267, 5 homers, 25 RBIs for Rollins. Play him straight away in the outfield. They play him the pull in the infield. A fastball high, 1-0. The dimensions here, it's a symmetrical ballpark at Coleman Field. 400 to straightaway center and 330 down the left field and right field lines. As you see, Adorno really getting into looking at his forearm band there that has his pitch calls. You can see the shortstop in the shot right there. That's Riley Orr playing almost straight up the middle. That's whacked foul off the screen in front of the Rollins dugout.
Well, and Joe, if Orr isn't standing right there for the final out of last half inning, Rollins has a lead. As he wound up with a routine ground ball out at second to get that third and final out. Otherwise, that ball shoots through and at least one scores.
Yeah, there were some hard hit balls in the first inning against Adorno. Coleman with a 1-1 count. The pitch to him. High. 2-1. Your umpires today for game one: Josh Gottlieb behind the plate, Scott Wyckoff at first, Rick Cacciatore at second. He's back after being gone for about a decade. He was here in 2011 and now he's back as an umpire. Drew Eaton is at third base. Welcome back, Rick Cacciatore. Coleman takes high, missed by a lot, 3-1.
2011, that was what, the 10th year you were calling this?
That was my first year with Greg Rakestraw.
He would have remembered that.
Oh, he remembered everything. Greg's great. And then I worked with the legendary Brandon Gaudin, and now you, since we figured it out, 2017.
You're supposed to refer to me as the available.
Well, now I'm just referring to you as longtime partner. It's been a while. Coleman with one out, nobody on. Adorno likes to take his time, the 3-1. Hit in the air, right field. Didn't get all of that one. Charging in the right fielder, Allen makes the play after he initially broke back. I can't blame him because the trajectory looked like it might be hit deep, but that did not hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, you weren't sure based on the sound, but yes, Allen immediately, his instinct was to retreat back to the wall where he recorded deep fly out last inning. But then all of a sudden, you watch the second baseman Sutton wisely give way to the charging right fielder Allen for out number 2.
Here is Cameron Meehan, the center fielder, senior, hitting .299, 11 homers and 31 RBIs. With 2 down, nobody on against Adorno. Much easier so far this inning than it was in the first. 0-1 the count.
Another Orlando native on this Rollins squad. Rollins in Winter Park, Florida.
Number 8 hitter up there in Meehan, the 0-1. He was behind the fastball there, 0-2. So seems like Adorno, when he is bringing his fastball, it's getting up there to the 94-mile-an-hour range that we heard about, and he has to have some extra adrenaline for this outing here in the D2 championship.
Yeah, you can know what's coming, but what good does that do for you?
0-2 to Meehan. Swing and a miss. He just waved at that pitch. Little celebration there for Adorno, who has struck out 4 and retires the side in order, and he has retired 6 in a row since the first 2 reached. A beautiful day at the Division II Baseball Championship. First game of the tournament. Later on tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, it'll be number 2 seed Point Loma from San Diego, California, taking on number 7 seed Illinois Springfield.
Prairie Stars.
The Prairie Stars. That's going to be fun.
No Prairie B-listers.
Couple of teams that don't have a lot of experience in that kind of environment. They have not been to the Division II baseball championship before. There's a called strike to Jacob Machuca, 0-1. Machuca hitting .333, 11 homers, 44 RBIs. The Mule Riders went down 1-2-3 in the first inning against Whitehead. There's a little ground ball on the right side, cut off by Whitehead. That's Jesslyn over to his brother Jalen. Nice combo there on the 3-1 put out for the Whitehead brothers.
Yeah, love it when you can see two brothers share like that. As this is actually an excellent job, as Jalen immediately giving his brother a target over there at first base.
Center fielder, number 2, Ty Manning.
We always talk about that play being worked on in the preseason, you know, in Major League Baseball spring training. Did they work on that in the backyard at home? They might have. Ty Manning up there hitting .330, 8 homers, 48 RBIs. Stands up in the box, and that's a strike. He's almost out of the box with his left foot. When he was striding there, his left foot looked like it was almost out of the batter's box. He moves back a little bit here. That's cued back to the mound, handled by Jalen Whitehead over to his brother again. So the two brothers have combined for 2 outs. The pitcher, Jalen, the older brother.
What a fun experience for these two to get to suit up as teammates.
Now batting designated hitter, number 24, Tucker.
And you know that makes the schedule for their family members a little bit simpler when they're not tracking multiple games at the same time.
That was that first play with Jesslyn over to Jalen. Here is Tucker Burton hitting .321, a team high 20 home runs and 66 RBIs. That's a strike, 0-1. Well, a lot of times Jalen Whitehead will pitch backwards and throw off-speed pitches and then come at you with his fastball, but he has to be able to command his pitches because he doesn't throw hard. 1-1.
Burton, second team All-Region, second team All-Conference. Biggest moment of the postseason, probably his walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth to beat Henderson State to advance to those Super Regionals where they would sweep Augustana.
He lines one into center field. That's a base hit. And that was kind of off the end of the bat, but he'll take it for a 2-out single. First base runner for Southern Arkansas.
Yeah, .321 hitter in that 6th spot in the lineup.
Left fielder, number 3.
Man, that took a lot of doing to take those batting gloves off. There's a lot of wrapping on that. Here's Chris Lyles.
See if the bottom third of the order can come through here.
Lyles, a sophomore, hitting .362, 8 homers, and 36 RBIs. I mentioned this lineup can really do a lot of damage, and that's 1 through 9. I mean, they've got guys here batting near the bottom of the order that are hitting over 300. The number 9 hitter, Orr, is hitting .384.
Lyles on the all-conference tournament team for his contributions to a 4-0 showing.
That's lined into left field, a base hit. Coleman comes over and picks it up. Stopping at second is Burton. He is not a speedster, so he didn't take a chance there. 2 on with 2 outs after back-to-back hits.
Now batting right fielder, number 11, Connor Allen.
Second straight Mule Rider, able to find a pitch he can work with. Back-to-back singles now with 2 outs.
Connor Allen steps in, hitting .303, 10 homers, 34 RBIs. Crowds the plate a little bit. Pops it up foul, first base side. Jesslyn gives chase, but it drops out of play. There is a lot of room in foul territory on the first base side, third base side, even behind the plate. So that definitely favors the pitcher. You can get some of those outs, but that one just went out of play.
You mentioned how there's talent throughout this lineup. Even Connor Allen with pop. His 10th home run of the year proved to be a huge one. A 2-run homer in the 8th in that first game of the Supers for a late lead.
That's hit high in the air to deep left field. Coleman going back, way back at the wall. It's gone! A 3-run homer for Connor Allen. And it's 3-0 Southern Arkansas.
All of it with 2 outs, Joe. Mule Riders making every out count. Burton and Lyles with singles. And Connor Allen for the 11th time this year, a trot around the base paths.
They are into it. And as you mentioned earlier, it's not the first time this happened with 2 outs. They had that 7-run inning with 2 outs in the Super Regional. And now that was a bomb off the bat of Allen. This came at him with a fastball, but Allen was ready for it. Riley Orr at the plate with a 1-1 count, hitting .384 from the number 9 spot, 7 homers and 55 RBIs. So we get our first scoring of this tournament, and we get our first home run here in the 2nd inning.
Orr is a second-generation mule rider. His dad, Jonathan, used to suit up for Southern Arkansas. Had been the career walks leader before a teammate of his broke that mark this year. His dad played for Steve Goodhart in the mid-90s.
Here's the 2-2 to Riley. Skies one to center field. Back on it is Meehan under control. And that will do it for Southern Arkansas in the 2nd. But they hit their 112th home run of the year, 5th in the country in home runs. That was a big 3-run blast by Connor Allen. And at the end of 2, Southern Arkansas 3, Rollins nothing in Game 1 of the Division II baseball.
We welcome you back here on NCAA.com. Lincoln Rose along with Joe Castellano. Joe, if you get your finger out, you'll count 8 flags currently up, one for each school. After you suffer your 2nd loss, before you can blink, that flag is gone.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it where the flag is coming down and the out isn't even quite recorded yet. It's like the ball's still in the air going in the glove.
0 chill. Well, Jeremy Adorno back for his 3rd inning of work. Jeremy, through the first 2 innings, has seen the first 8 men in the Rollins lineup. That has Jared Herron leading things off out of the 9 spot. And all of a sudden, the Tars trail by 3, courtesy of the home run from Connor Allen. Herron, a 5th-year senior, started his career over at Florida State in Tallahassee. He's a part of the Orlando, Florida contingency, batting .308 with 5 home runs on the year. Adorno struck out 2 in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd. Bumpiest inning was that top half of the 1st inning when the Tars got their first 2 men on with an error and a single. And as that one will go about 59 feet before it's knocked down by Brett McGee. First time back to the Division II Baseball Championship for Rollins since 2004. We mentioned that Sunshine State Conference, a tough one to emerge from, let alone your region. But if you can, certainly you belong among the top 8 here playing in Cary. Slow chopper left side, Nickel at 3rd, regroups over in plenty of time to Machuca. 1 away.
You know what's interesting about that 2004 team for Rollins? They went up against Bryant. And Bryant at the time was coached by John Sjogren, who is now the head coach at Rollins. So his team knocked out Rollins the last time they were in the D2 championship. And that was a nice play there by Nickel because he got to get rid of that ball quickly, and he did.
Sjogren was coaching at his alma mater at the time. He's in the Bryant Hall of Fame for his playing days. Back to the top of the order, here's Joey Rubin, who, remember, hit one over the shortstop, or an error allowed Rubin to advance. He'd be stranded on 3rd at the end of that 1st inning. After the first 2 men in the Rollins lineup reached, the next 7 have now all been retired.
By the way, when the Division II Baseball Championship was being played in 2004, it was in Montgomery, Alabama. Eventually came here to Cary. Then we had 1 year in Grand Prairie, Texas in 2017, and then came back to Cary.
Westchester has some pretty good memories in Grand Prairie. They decided to come back and join us here in Cary this year.
Yeah, they won the title in 2017.
Golden Rams.
They beat UC San Diego that year.
That was almost a magical comeback from UCSD, now in Division I. All right, so 1 out, nobody on. The 0-2 offering coming up from Adorno. Just got a piece of it into the dirt.
What's interesting is that Justin James was the pitching coach of that UC San Diego team that you were just talking about. He is now the head coach at Point Loma, and they're going to play our second game today up against Illinois Springfield.
Longest trek for any team this year. One coast to the other. Fourth pitch of the at-bat. Again, the 0-2 offering. 1-2. 91-mile-per-hour offering, low and away.
7 in a row retired by Adorno since the first 2 batters reached on an error and a single, and a couple of hard hit balls early on, but now he seems to be settling in.
Well, he's just been spotted his first lead of the day and some insurance to work with. The 1-2 to Rubin. Out towards right. Allen has a read on it. 2 away.
Yeah, Adorno's trying to go to 15-0 on the season. Just incredible. What a year for a freshman. How do you even improve on that?
Now batting shortstop, number 4, Chase Aiko.
That was the breaking ball that came in on Rubin.
Mentioned we have 2 first-team All-American pitchers. Jeremy Adorno, since he is a freshman, was your newcomer of the year in the Great American Conference. This past week named Division II National Pitcher of the Year. Left side, you've got 3 infielders on the left side. This is the shortstop or across the body in that shift. And it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Jeremy Adorno spotted a 3-run lead, maintains a 3-run lead as the Mule Riders will look for more when they come back. Division II Baseball Championship, 8 teams over the next 8 days. The journey begins here today. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano with you. Jalen Whitehead back on the mound. His Tars unable to claw back any of the 3 runs they conceded last inning. Now just trying to keep it just a 3-run deficit. Back to the top of the order as Chris Sutton, first pitch he sees, will send it foul and out of play. Grounded out to the shortstop to begin at bottom of the first inning. It was the bottom half of the lineup, Joe, for Southern Arkansas that was able to do the damage against Jalen Whitehead. All of that, remember, with 2 outs, the 3-run home run.
Anytime you can get a 3-run homer from your number 8 hitter, you have to feel comfortable about your lineup.
Count 1-2 to Sutton. Chris Sutton out of Wake Village, Texas, from Texas High, the sophomore. Trying to fill the shoes of an All-American second baseman and a 4-year leadoff hitter, Austin Baker, and boy, has he ever done a nice job. As this year he set the Great American Conference record for runs scored and would love to cross home plate a few more times this week. Shallow center coming in. Meehan is able to squeeze it on the fly. 1 away.
Yeah, he was playing pretty deep against the guy who was not one of the big power threats in the lineup, so he had a long way to go to catch that ball.
Batting the catcher, Brett McGee.
Brings up Brett McGee, the one strikeout victim today for Jalen Whitehead. McGee, first team all-conference, was also all-defensive team. He's from Pittsburgh. You know where that is? Texas.
You know, there's a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's the probably the most famous.
That's the one with H. This is just Pittsburgh.
Okay.
This is not Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
We'll get into that in a second, but there's a Pittsburgh, California, too, without an H. So this is a common thread. All right, let's get into the Mr. Rogers. Why did you say that?
Well, he happens to have a degree from Rollins.
Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
We're in the third inning, and we're already diving into our deep research.
What's equally as fun about alums from Rollins is that Buddy Epson went there as well, the star of the Beverly Hillbillies.
He played grandma.
Jed.
The right side, that is a foul ball. So Brett McGee will head back to the plate.
I know your favorite character was Jethro, actually.
I love them all equally.
You know who else went to Rollins, and while we're on the topic, Anthony Perkins, the actor from Psycho. He was Norman Bates. Did you ever see the more recent Bates Motel series? It is outstanding on Netflix. Kind of scary.
Off the edge of the bat, still able to wrap it around this one. That one could drop, and it will. A one-out base hit for McGee. He's able to get back to first in time. Boy, that ball just hung up there, but finally found some space. That's a base runner with one out.
And that's what happens when you have 16 homers on the year. You're playing pretty deep if you're the center fielder, and a guy like McGee is going to get hits like this. I mean, that's just a fly ball. He's not even happy about it, but it had time to drop in there because the outfielder in center field, Meehan, in this case, is playing pretty deep, and you can't blame him when you have a hitter who has that kind of power.
That brings back the Canadian out of British Columbia, Brandon Nickel, second team all-conference and all-region this year. First collegiate stop was at Galveston College in the Gulf Coast, Texas. We're making his way to the natural state. Brandon flied out to right in that first inning.
You know, here's a guy who has 14 homers, and the right fielder against a right-handed batter, the right fielder Smith is way out there. I mean, he's probably a couple of strides from the warning track. So anything that's blooped into right, that's going to drop. That seems to be pretty deep to be playing against a right-handed batter.
Count 2-1.
That being said, Nickel hit one to the warning track last time. I almost forgot about that. Remember, he hit one to the warning track, so that's why Smith is saying, you know what, I'm not taking any chances against this guy.
Yeah, that's a little change in the scouting report.
Exactly.
Runner on first, Brett McGee with a one-out single. The count's going to progress to 3-1 to Nickel. Cleanup hitter Jacob Machuca on deck, barring a double play. Again, Nickel, a .337 hitter coming into this weekend with those 14 home runs, 81 runs batted in for a college baseball player. And a walk.
That's the first one of the game for Southern Arkansas, and that's something they do really well. You mentioned it earlier. 6 walks a game. They lead the nation in walks. So they are a very patient team.
The first baseman, Jacob Machuca.
Nickel able to lay off that one. So here is your cleanup hitter, Jacob Machuca, who grounded out to the right side to lead off last inning.
It's interesting, you have back-to-back freshmen in the middle of this order in Nickel and Machuca.
There's one out, a significant shift from the middle infielders. With 2 on. If Machuca ever had dreams, there's your window of shooting one to the opposite field. The window's wide open.
It is amazing these days how a scouting report could be that sophisticated to know that he's more of a pull hitter on the ground, but they play him straight away in the outfield. I mean, not too long ago, you wouldn't have that kind of a scouting report on a hitter.
Yeah, these are two teams that are not going to cross paths very often, but perhaps you work through your network of former colleagues.
Yeah.
And you perhaps recognize a coach who now is in a region of one of these teams. Ask for a little help.
They've only had one previous meeting. That was 2010 in the NCAA South Region Tournament, and Southern Arkansas won that game 7-1.
Machuca, 11 home runs, 44 RBI, the 1-2. As Heron able to keep that ball in front of him and keep the base runners right where they are.
Boy, he'd love to get a ground ball here to get a double play, and that's something Rollins does really well. They are tied for first in the nation in turning double plays, 56 of them this season.
If you're a base coach, I don't know if you like to see the palms to the sky of your base runner asking what you're telling him.
Yeah, that'd be confusing, right? He's confused.
We've got wristbands for this.
Yeah.
Fourth batter this inning, Jacob Machuca. 2 on, 1 out.
Could run the runners here on 3 and 2.
Yeah, just 1 out. We'll see with a 3-2 offering from the southpaw. 2 away. Second strikeout and a big one for Jalen Whitehead.
And that was more of a modern day swing on a 3-2 pitch. I mean, Machuca took a huge cut. I don't know whatever happened to trying to just stay alive with 2 strikes, but look at that swing. Looked like Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson, Mr. June. Here's Ty Manning.
That's an old reference. I'm going to have somebody more modern day.
This will stay in the confines. Left fielder Coleman underneath it. And despite having 2 men on with 1 out, next couple of outs recorded by Whitehead and his defense. And it remains just a 3-run deficit.
Hey fans, did you know that Division II
On to the 4th inning. A 3-run lead for Southern Arkansas as the Mule Riders, their first appearance here in Cary. Ironically, sometimes it's been the Mules that have gotten in their way as they take on the Tars of Rollins, who we mentioned emerge out of the Sunshine State Conference. Of course, that's home to Tampa as the Spartans came up short in the Super Regional against these Tars. Both teams 40-plus victories on the year, looking for another handful this week in this true double elimination tournament for the Division II crown.
You know, it's interesting to see a pitcher with that wristband because usually it's the catcher that's looking at what the signs are and then you just flash it to the pitcher and he gets it, but that leads me to believe that Adorno is really in on the scouting report and wants to make sure that he's going to throw the right pitch every time.
So far he has.
Yeah, other than the first 2 batters, I mean, he's recovered to retire 9 in a row.
Here's Adam Torres, the first strikeout victim of the day for Jeremy Adorno, your number 3 hitter. So we think your 2-time Great American Conference Head Coach of the Year, Justin Pettigrew, made a challenging coaching decision not to yank Adorno after the first 2 men reached back in the 1st inning. Just trusted his gut to leave him in.
Well, remember, Pettigrew comes from a pitching background. He was the team's pitching coach for 11 years before he became the head coach, now in his 6th season as the head coach for Southern Arkansas.
Yeah, over the years has led them to 3 conference regular season titles, 2 tournament titles. Past 5 years, 20 wins or more in conference. This one skyward. Sutton, the second baseman, battling the sun. Able to make it. Little off balance, but 1 away.
Yeah, that was kind of tough. I mean, the sun definitely shining bright. And without sunglasses on, that could be pretty tough. He's talking to himself. You watch Sutton here. You got to do everything you can to block the sun. As he went back on that, he used his right hand, and then he took it away. And it's kind of hard, I think, once you take that hand away, sometimes you'll lose the ball.
Run him up to the souvenir shop to get some sunglasses. Here's Jesslyn Whitehead. 0-for-1 with a strikeout against Adorno back in the first. Whitehead, the freshman who started his academic career at the College of Central Florida. Whitehead from Orlando. 347 hitter with 37 RBI coming into today. Trying to reach any way he can. With his brother getting the starting nod in this historic game for this program. Rollins a year ago, 9 wins.
Oh.
An abbreviated schedule, but 9 wins. This year they are 40-15. Only got 20 games in last year, most of that in conference. Still battling the pandemic. 2-0 up the middle, but again, there is that scouting report as Chris Sutton barely had to move 2 away.
Well, Coach Sjogren told us that he was a little concerned about his team coming here and getting extra excited about being in the D2 championship for these players, everybody on this roster, the first time, because he said, you know, you walk around, you got an extra hop in your step, and you have a smile on your face, and everybody's treating you like gold, but you have to treat it like a business trip. And I think, you know, you have to settle into the tournament. Maybe they're, you know, finding their way here early on with their bats.
Nick Santucci trying to extend this inning, and he's going to be able to. That ball drops as Connor Allen will knock it down, but it's a 2-out single for Santucci, the DH.
And that snaps 11 in a row retired by Adorno since the first inning.
That'll give way to Parker Smith.
The right fielder, Parker Smith.
Joe, you mentioned it so many times. We see a program that hasn't been here. They feel like they're a team of destiny, as all 8 teams truly do. Another look. Even the slip out of the box, Santucci easily with the single.
He couldn't get to first base fast enough. I mean, that's part of the being excited thing right there, I think. You know, you're trying to get out of the box so fast you might fall down.
But to oversimplify it, every team, all 8 teams are here for one reason. They have kept winning. Mm-hmm. But we know the nature of the tournament by rule is only one team is going to keep winning.
Yeah.
And so you have teams that show up, soak it all in. Great hospitality here in North Carolina with the NCAA Division II in the greater Raleigh area. But ultimately have to be able to do all the little things: pitching, defense, hitting.
Well, we've learned over the years that you can't be concerned with what your seed is. And Rollins is a number 6 seed. All they have to do is go back to last season and realize that Wingate won the national championship as the number 6 seed.
But we're not suggesting they lose their first game like Wingate did.
No, it's pretty tough to come out of the loser's bracket.
1 on, 2 outs. The 0-2 from Adorno.
I mean, the main reason it's tough is that it's taxing on your pitching staff, but Wingate had enough depth that they got through it.
All 3 runs for Southern Arkansas back in the second inning, thanks to a 2-run home run. Rollins has been trying to catch up ever since, looking for a little 2-out rally of its own right here. Runner Santucci on first. And they've got Santucci off the bag. Jeremy Adorno will face the minimum when it's all said and done in the 4th inning. Caught Santucci leaning. Adorno slams the door.
Bottom of the 4th, leading off designated hitter Tucker Burton.
Nobody told the Vultures it's double elimination. Little premature.
Is that a vulture for sure?
No.
Oh. going to say.
Thanks to the pandemic, we have a few more bird experts around the country who can tweet at us. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano, bottom half of the fourth inning. As Southern Arkansas, here's the dangerous part of their lineup. It all began with this man, Tucker Burton, with a 2-out single back in the second. He would be the first of 3 men to score on Connor Allen's home run. Burton, your DH in this lineup, batting in the 6th spot. Again, second team all-region. Started his career at Ranger Junior College. "20 home runs for Tucker Burton this year, and on top of that, he happens to be pretty smart. He is your distinguished scholar athlete. Have to be one to say it. In the Great American Athletic Conference and academic all-district first team, named by sports information directors, facing Whitehead for a second time.
He is too shy of getting the school record for home runs in a season at 22.
The 2-2. Still too shy.
Well, you really have to wait on these pitches, even when it's a fastball, because, I mean, Whitehead is just not throwing hard, and he changes speeds with his fastball where it kind of looks like a changeup. But I believe that was his fastball right there that he went up in the zone with. And hitters are, well, actually, you know, that moved down a little bit more. But hitters are just so used to gearing up for 90-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Moving quickly, here's Chris Lyles. He also had a 2-out single back in the second. Southern Arkansas, remember, stranded 2 last inning. They were trying to break this game open. Lyles is a left fielder by definition on his resume, but if you look at that outfield for Southern Arkansas next half inning, with Lyles, Manning, as well as Connor Allen, you have 3 center field caliber outfielders out there. A nice luxury for their head coach. Got him on the 0-2, back-to-back strikeouts for Jalen Whitehead, who has now struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced.
He's getting a little revenge on those hitters that got base hits against him the first time around. And now he's looking for the ultimate revenge against somebody who hit a home run against him. Well, there's the delivery from Whitehead. He gets a lot into that pitch on that follow-through.
Well, weight off his shoulder, 4 strikeouts now. And again, as you mentioned, here is Connor Allen. Allen from the Dallas area, from Plano, Texas, went to Navarro Junior College, was not a part of the cheer team. And this one's launched out towards left, but a drive that won't quite carry this time. Ryan Coleman squeezes it in. 2 strikeouts and a line out, a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jalen Whitehead and the Tars, as they'll go back to the dugout, grab their bats, still trailing by 3. Well, if you were here last year and you come back, all of a sudden you know all the great spots to take a nap on your off day. The Penmen of Southern New Hampshire. They'll get their journey started tomorrow. One of 2 teams back from last year, along with Angelo State. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano, not pictured.
They're playing each other tomorrow. 2 teams that returned from last year.
We noticed blue and yellow popular themes this year. The Rams, the Tars, the Mule Riders. So top half of the 5th inning, Rollins another chance to cut into the 3-run deficit. Here's Parker Smith, who led off in the second with a strikeout against Adorno.
We didn't get to talk about it, but that was pretty bad that you get a pickoff if you're Rollins. You're down 3-0, and Santucci getting picked off first. That really hurt them. to end the fourth.
Yeah, Smith was at the plate. Of course, you wipe that count clean when he comes up this inning. All of a sudden, nobody on.
I mean, they were struggling to get base runners. They didn't have any since the first inning. They finally get one, and then he gets picked off to end the inning. But I think he was trying to make sure he could get a good jump and try to steal second and make something happen. So you understand that too.
Adorno looking for the strike zone here in the fifth inning, the 2-0. This will be out of play behind the backstop. I say that. Nope. Oh, it carried. Out of play.
Yeah, there's a lot of room back there, so if you're a catcher, you have to give it a look at least.
And even if you tune in each year, what you don't appreciate is this is one of 4 identical fields. So teams making their way out today who may not play until tomorrow, able to get accustomed to all the dimensions.
See the catcher McGee getting the pitch called, then looking at his wristband, relaying it to Adorno, who looks at his wristband eventually. There's a lot going on there.
Fastball high.
Something I really don't understand, Lincoln, with catchers these days, and this really just started a couple of years ago, I think. A lot of catchers, they'll put out their mitt, and you'll watch McGee here, put out the mitt to make sure that the pitcher has a good place to throw it. But when the pitch is coming in, when it's getting delivered, he puts it down near the ground. Watch. I don't understand that. Your target is moving down instead of staying where you want the pitcher to throw the ball.
Well, limited sample size, but as you point out, ultimately a walk. Another look.
I mean, there's the target. I want to throw there. I'm looking. Now the target drops. You don't have a target anymore. Not that that was the reason for that ball 4, but I'm just saying I don't know how that helps a pitcher to be dropping the target.
Here's Ryan Coleman, 0 for 1 today. And this one foul straight back, out of play. Coleman, a .267 hitter coming into this week. 5 home runs, 25 RBI.
Coleman at Coleman Field.
We failed to do the genealogy.
They didn't name it after him.
Oh, and 2. All right, so Parker Smith is your second man to reach as a leadoff hitter today for Rollins. Last time they had the leadoff man on was back in the first. But pretty safe to say Coleman's not going to square around here for a sacrifice bunt. The 0-2 from Adorno. Out of the stretch. Up the middle. Sutton looking for 2. They'll settle for 1. So Parker Smith out at the force, and Coleman reaches on the fielder's choice. Chris Sutton able to get to Riley Orr in time for the lead out.
That ball wasn't hit hard enough to turn 2, but I'll tell you what, that was a really nice effort by Sutton and Orr, and I really like the style there by Sutton. He makes this look so easy to just flip it out of his glove. That's not easy to flip it out in one motion like that and be accurate, but that was perfect.
Well, not just that, but Orr did not need the leather on his left hand.
Yeah, exactly.
He bare hands that ball.
So they're doing 2 things right there that save time.
I don't think they understand how gloves and bare hands work.
And those are 2 things that you wouldn't see in the past. That's one area where you have to admire something that's really improved, because that's much quicker the way they just did that.
Saw it in warm-ups before today's game. Final ground ball hit to everybody. They were bare-handing it and throwing over to first. Second basemen were actually throwing it behind their backs.
Yeah, the athleticism up the middle is pretty amazing for a lot of these teams.
So 1 on, 1 out for Cameron Meehan. Struck out to end the second inning, 0 for 1 today.
He's got to shade the sun when he looks at that forearm band.
Yeah, that sun is basically right now directly overhead. Trailing by 3. Could not hold up 1 and 2.
They've tried that audio system in the major leagues where the catcher can talk to the pitcher through a device, but that doesn't always work. They've had issues with it.
Runner on first, Coleman with 1 out. Ooh, still just 1 out.
That was almost too close to take.
Your number 8 hitter, Cameron Meehan, trying to come through. With 1 out here in the 5th. Adorno. Did he go? He did. First strikeout since back in the second inning for Adorno, his 5th of the ball game.
Well, he got some help there by the first base umpire, and it definitely looked like a good call. Meehan going around, you judge for yourself. And he offered. You can see the players in the dugout there helping too, pointing and saying, yeah, he swung.
They know there's an official shortage. They want to help.
It's cool that at both dugouts, the players, they don't sit in the dugout. They're over the railing. They're so excited about every pitch.
I don't think they install benches anymore in dugouts.
They don't need them here.
Here's Herron, your 9 hitter. That ball is going to get out of play. It will not endanger any sunbathing pinmen. It's going to hit. One of these days, I'm going to count just how many NCAA logos we have here in Cary, North Carolina. They outdo themselves. It's not just that, but all the branding. When these teams show up, they very much feel their presence.
Well, I love the logos when you walk into the ballpark. They have each team's logo on the little walkway on your way in. It's really cool.
They even tell you how many miles you are from campus. 0-1, left side. Riley Orr to Chris Sutton again. 3rd out. Rollins got their leadoff man on with a walk. Never moved a runner into scoring position. Jeremy Adorno in this defense. So the Mule Riders able to shut him down and keep that 3-run lead intact. Bottom of the 5th coming up next.
The NCAA would like to
Fans always looking forward to the opportunity to come out to Cary, North Carolina. Several of these fans have not found a favorite team yet to cheer for. Also see some student athletes and coaches who will get into the mix a little bit later on this week.
I think if they wore blue and gold, they'd have a good shot at picking the right team.
Angelo State?
Or one of these two teams.
Wearing blue and gold. I see what you're saying.
9-1 and 2 hitters.
Bottom half of the 5th inning.
Bottom of the 5th, leading off the shortstop.
Southern Arkansas, by virtue of being reseeded as the 3 seed entering this week, your home team. Here's Riley Orr, who's been busy as your shortstop for the Mule Riders. Orr flied out to center back in the second, 0 for 1 today.
He's already made one really nice play at shortstop. He's definitely the anchor of the defense.
Both starting pitchers still going strong. Jalen Whitehead on the mound for his 5th inning of work. Just that 2-out rally back in the second that has Southern Arkansas out ahead. The 3-run home run from Connor Allen. Allen was retired last inning, a 3 up, 3 down inning for Whitehead. Parker Smith in right underneath that one away.
He's got the sunglasses out there, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
And to his credit, he's wearing them.
Yeah, and it's sunny out there. And I believe that Torres has him at second, so I think it's a good move with the way the sun is.
Top of the order for a third time now, facing Jalen Whitehead. This is Chris Sutton, 0 for 2 today. A ground out and a fly out to center last time up in the third. Mentioned for 4 straight years, Southern Arkansas head coach Justin Pettigrew knew exactly who was batting leadoff.
Makes it a lot easier.
Again, that was Austin Baker, the All-American, who finally ran out of eligibility after last year. But Chris Sutton hasn't done just an admirable job. He has very much taken over the role, both at second base and as your leadoff hitter, and has made it his own. Mentioned set a conference record for runs scored this year. Obviously, that is a team stat, as his teammates able to bring him home. The 3-1. Thought he had ball 4. Instead, the count goes full.
Coach Pettigrew talked about how he is a grinder up there, and you can see why he's such a good leadoff hitter, because he gets into deep counts.
Punched out towards right. Parker Smith settles in underneath it, 2 away. Couple of fly outs to right, 2 away.
Now batting the catcher, Brent McGee.
And here comes a guy who has a great OPS, on base plus slugging percentage, over 1,100.
McGee, first team all conference. Already 1 for 2 today. 1 of 2 runners left on base back in the third. Pulled foul.
I mean, Whitehead has pitched almost as good as Adorno when you think about it. I mean, really, he just made that mistake to Allen for the 3-run homer. But other than that, he's been able to get out of some situations, and he's been settled in pretty well here the last couple of innings.
Yeah, both these pitchers at the moment are going to be doing their coach a great service by saving that bullpen. You'll appreciate those fresh arms later in the week. The 0-1. Mentioned the Mule Riders last year exited, falling in the regional to the Mules of Central Missouri, who handed them both their losses in the NCAA tournament. Now 14th NCAA appearance for the Mule Riders, first here in Cary. And this one's probably playable. That is sky high. And if we had no chance of rain, it might have increased slightly as that one tickles some clouds before dropping into the glove for out number 3. So Jalen Whitehead and his defense have retired 8 straight to keep it. Well, our most valuable contributors all week here in Cary have come out to refresh the infield. Each and every year we are just in awe of this playing surface before every ball game. Looks like it is being stepped on for the first time.
I don't think there's a pebble on that infield. Look at that. They're scooping up any possible pebbles, but you don't get a bad hop here generally.
If there's anything wrong with the infield, I don't want to point fingers, but Southern Arkansas brought a little soil from Magnolia and sprinkled it about.
Is that the deal?
So
it's possible.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, have you been to Magnolia, Arkansas?
I don't know the answer to that.
All right, I'm going to tell you how they got the nickname Mule Riders because I know you are dying to know. Maybe you already know this. But in the early 1900s, the football team had to ride mules to catch the nearest train 6 miles away to get to road games. So they became the Mule Riders. That's what I got for you. That's why I'm here for you.
Where were they riding to?
Try to get to their road football games. So they're trying to catch the train. They needed a mule to get to the train. It was 6 miles.
You'd think they'd be the train riders by now. Top of the order for the Tars. Here's Joey Rubin. Remember, Rubin put that ball in play, reached on an error back in the first, but would be stranded. It's 0 for 2 today. Joe, that comeback window's getting a little narrower.
Sure is. They could use some base runners. And this is a guy in Rubin who you have to admire. I mean, he's battled through a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. You can imagine the kind of pain he's had to go through to battle through that and still swing the bat.
He is facing the Division II National Pitcher of the Year, who happens to be a freshman, Jeremy Adorno. Left side, that's a fair ball. Wow. Brandon Nickel had to have made the decision that he was not going to be able to field it and throw it across in time, so his only hope was that it would skip foul. It did not, and that's a leadoff single for Joey Rubin.
Well, I don't know about that decision because I still thought he would have had a chance at him, but he gave up on it thinking, okay, I hope that goes foul. But right here, you're coming in. I think if you field this ball, you're going to be able to throw him out.
Especially if it's your glove side.
Yeah. Instead, he thinks it's going to go foul, and it goes right over the bag.
I could understand if that ball was squared up on his right side.
It all started with a little ground ball up the third baseline.
All right. Joey Rubin's running the bases for a second time today. He reached third back in the first inning. Can they bring him home this time? Here's Chase Acuff. Acuff has your only hit today off of Jeremy Adorno.
That was a freshman mistake right there by the third baseman, Nickel, I think.
I'm sorry, he has one of 3 hits today, Rubin's being the third a moment ago. Up the middle. They'll try to get one, they do. Nice recovery by Chris Sutton across his body to Machuca in time. But Joey Rubin, 1 out later, is in scoring position.
And sending the runner there actually helped for Southern Arkansas to be able to make a play for the second baseman Sutton, because he wouldn't have been in position there if not for the fact that he was coming over towards the middle with the runner going. See, the runner's going there, and Sutton is getting in position. I believe he was backing up the play, but still he had to get over there. Watch Sutton. Because the runner's going, he's coming over, and he's in position to field the ball.
The shift probably already was going to be severe enough to help.
Yeah. It's possible.
Here's Adam Torres, 0 for 2 today. So you're going to get to watch Joey Rubin bounce around a little bit there on second base behind Jeremy Adorno.
First time they've had a man in scoring position since the first inning.
And that guy's name?
That was Rubin.
Yep. Punched out towards right, Allen on the fly. And no chance for Rubin to tag up. 2 away.
Boy, Rollins really needs something here. I mean, they just have to be feeling like we haven't been able to get much going against Adorno. Just to get at least 1 run here, to get on the board would be huge for them.
All right, Jesslyn Whitehead. A strikeout and ground out today for the freshman, the younger of the 2 Whiteheads. 37 RBI this season. 4th batter up this inning. Able to get out of the way of that one. Runner on second, Rubin had a leadoff single. 2 batters later, he's advanced 90 feet as McGee able to keep that one from getting by him.
Pitch count is not all that bad at 71, and it's not as hot as it could be here in Cary, North Carolina. I mean, many times this tournament we'll get temperatures in the mid-90s. We're more in the mid-80s today.
Yeah, we're not going to touch 90 for the next few days. Two outs, runner on second.
Oh.
Count 2-1 now to Whitehead.
Well, that was a good cut there by Whitehead because he's ahead in the count. He might as well take a big rip. Now, that's a guy who doesn't have a home run this year, but that was a home run type swing.
Mentioned uncharted territory really for Rollins, who for almost the past decade has been a 500 program, averaging about 24 wins a year until starting to find their rhythm these past couple of seasons. Last year being the exception with those 9 wins.
Remember back in the first inning, Adorno was really able to bear down when he had the 2 men on and nobody out. He got a couple of strikeouts in a row. So we'll see what he does here. He seems to really want to get a K in this kind of situation.
Already 1 strikeout of Jesslyn Whitehead today. Rubin still hoping he can come home this inning here in the top of the 6th. The 2-2. Allen. And that's your top of the 6th. A leadoff single from Joey Rubin. He moves 90 feet, but for a second time today is left stranded in scoring position. Cary, North Carolina, once again the ultimate site for Division II baseball. This week's championship. From Saturday to Saturday, 8 days of championship caliber baseball. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano with you. Bottom half of the 6th inning. This is the first game of the week of our 8 teams. The first 2 to take the diamond, the Mule Riders of Southern Arkansas, the Tars of Rollins. It's the Mule Riders back at the plate here in the 6th. Brandon Nickel 0 for 1 today. A deep shot to right field that proved just to be a fly out, and then a walk in the 3rd. As Southern Arkansas has scored 3 and stranded 2. It'll be Nickel, Machuca, and Manning due up this inning. Both starting pitchers still in this ball game. Jalen Whitehead. Count 1-2. Again, members of the Great American Conference and the Sunshine State Conference colliding here in North Carolina. As Nickel able to lay off of that one. 2-2. No runs on 3 hits for Rollins. Southern Arkansas right now 3 runs on 4 hits. Out of play.
Nickel may feel like he got away with one because that play that he had there in the top half of this inning where he let the ball go didn't turn into a run, but that could have felt really bad.
The 2-2. Again, that's a ball where often you line it up on your right side, so if you need to barehand it for the throw over to first, you're able to do so. But he had that glove side, so you know it's not going to foul. Coming in, center fielder Meehan. He's going to give way to his shortstop. As Chase Acuff. 1-1.
That's 9 in a row retired by Whitehead. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, that 3-run home run in the 2nd. 2 men reached in the 3rd, but since then, Nickel was the last man to reach back in that 3rd inning, has just been retired. Here's Jacob Machuca, 0 for 1, or 0 for 2 today, pardon me. First pitch he sees. Out towards left center. And Meehan has it 2 away.
You can definitely see why Whitehead has a 1.60 ERA, and you can see why opponents only hit 193 against him. I mean, he has them off balance. He hits his spots. So even though he doesn't throw hard, it doesn't matter. He's definitely kept most of these mule riders in check throughout this game.
That 3-run home run came with 2 outs. Let's see if Southern Arkansas has another 2-out rally in them here. This one launched but fell. As Ty Manning, a ground out to the pitcher, a fly out to left, 0 for 2 today. First time at the plate since back in the 3rd. Ty from the Dallas area grew up in Flower Mound, Texas. Started his career over at Howard College. This year's 2nd team All-Region, 1st team All-Conference, is also All-Defensive squad for the conference as well. Left side, Rubin able to stay behind that one. That's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Jalen Whitehead is doing everything he can to give his teammates who get to swing the bats a chance. The Tars still with 9 outs to work with, trailing by 3.
Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. Great to have you with us here on a beautiful day in Cary, North Carolina, right near Raleigh and Durham and Chapel Hill for day 1 of the Division II Baseball Championship, game 1. And right now it's 3-0. Southern Arkansas leading Rollins as we go to the 7th inning. And these pitchers, Lincoln, really have settled in. Adorno had the first 2 men reach then. I mean, he's been pretty dominating since. And for Whitehead, he gave up that 3-run homer in the 8th inning. And since then, he's really settled in. And since the 3rd inning, he's retired 11 in a row.
You absolutely want the win for your pitcher today. But regardless, both these pitchers are helping their teams for the rest of the week by virtue of saving that bullpen.
And Adorno is looking to go to 15-0 on the year if he can win this one. Nick Santucci will lead it off for Rollins. 1 for 2, a single, got picked off first base in the 4th inning. That was deflating for the Tars. First pitch to Santucci is in there for a called strike, 0-1. All right, so we know why they're called the Mule Riders. How about the Tars? I know everybody's been wondering, why are they the Tars? Well, a tar is a sailor, and centuries ago, during the age of tall sailing ships, British sailors were known as tars. And the Rollins connection, I'll tell you about, as that pitch misses. It began in World War I. A small Navy vessel was stationed on Lake Virginia, which borders half of the Rollins campus. The Tars.
If you listen to us all week, you are entitled to 1 summer school credit, is my understanding.
Can we just call them the Sailors, too, I guess? They're trying to sail right through in this first game, but they're not sailing because they're down 3-0. 2-1 to Santucci. He'll be followed by Smith and Coleman. Outfield not playing too deep against Santucci, who has power. But I think when you're up 3-0, you don't play your outfield deep. You don't want to have those balls that drop in for a lot of base runners. Adorno deals. Foul on the first base side. 2-2 the count now to Nick Santucci, the senior.
Almost took out his first base coach. It's either Chuck Shaw or Jim Newland over there. Yeah, again, Rollins head coach, you mentioned. Last time Rollins was here, he was the team facing them as head coach of his alma mater at Bryant. But talk about John Sjogren, a guy with almost 800 career victories.
That's a bullet in the right field corner for a base hit. Allen plays it in, and he'll hold Santucci to a leadoff single. And that is the 3rd straight inning that Rollins has the leadoff man aboard. We'll see if they can score this time. They had a walk in the 5th, a single in the 6th, now a single here in the 7th.
Third straight time to get the leadoff man. Third straight time that Santucci's been able to reach. The other time's a fielder's choice and a single. They just have struggled to be able to bring the runner home.
Here's Parker Smith, 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. Look out, he got hit in the back. So 2 runners on, and just like that, the potential tying run comes to the plate. First hit batsman for Adorno.
Not much time to react on that one.
Now batting left fielder.
That's his 14th hit batsman of the year, quite a few. So Ryan Coleman climbs in 0 for 2, flying to right, grounded to second. Chance to tie the game with 1 swing. Nobody out. Adorno deals. Breaking ball down and in, 1-0. Outfield is a little bit towards right. There's a big gap in left center right now. And the shortstop, Orr, is playing towards the middle. Big hole at short.
Coleman does have 5 home runs on the year.
Meehan on deck has some pretty good power. Now we're going to see our first visit to the mound. We haven't seen this all day. These pitchers have been cruising. But now it's time to talk for Southern Arkansas.
Southern Arkansas took that lead in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Haven't been able to build on it. At the same time, haven't seen Rollins be able to chip away at it. Second time today, Rollins has had 2 men on with nobody out. That's what they did back in a promising first inning in which they would strand 2.
Yeah, Adorno recovered and struck out 2 in a row after that and got a ground out. There were some hard hit balls in that first inning, and then he was able to really limit the hard contact, and then here the single and the hit by pitch. This is a resilient Rollins team. Keep in mind that they were 4th in their conference during the regular season behind Tampa, Florida Southern, and St. Leo, but they came out of that Sunshine State Conference and made it through the regional and the super regional by sweeping their way through and beat Tampa in 2 games in the super regional. Now here trying to come from behind as Coleman is at the plate. 2 on, nobody out. One 0 to Coleman. Ripped foul down the right field side. He was out in front of that off-speed pitch.
I mean, think about that conference. We've said Tampa several times now because what they have done, actually winning this year in, year out. But got Lynn, Florida Southern, and now Rollins just trying to live up to that legacy.
Coleman with a count of 1-1. Santucci and Smith on the bases. Adorno checks second and deals. Swing and a miss, another changeup. That's back-to-back changeups after a conversation with a coach. And a lot of times the coaching staff will want the pitcher to go off speed after throwing a lot of heat all day, and that's what happened there. Coach Pettigrew, I'm sure, making sure that strategy is conveyed, and mentioned that he was the pitching coach and now the head coach. What do you look for here if you're Coleman? The 1-2 outside, 2-2. You still have to be wary that he can throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. But he's thrown 3 changeups in a row.
We saw the bottom half of the lineup for Southern Arkansas produce their 3 runs. Here's a chance for Rollins with the bottom half of its lineup. And all 3 outs to work with.
Coleman, the sophomore, waiting for the freshman, Adorno. The 2-2. Fouled back. Still an even count. Bullpens have been quiet. Nobody getting loose in either pen. Starters have just been terrific. Adorno is up to 86 pitches now. 2-2 to Coleman. Line drive, base hit right field. Santucci gets to third. He's being held up as the throw comes in from Allen, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for Rollins.
Well, we always, just out of habit, say third time through the lineup, seeing the same pitcher tends to benefit the hitters. We've seen 2 singles and a hit batter to load these bases with nobody out.
And now the Tar center fielder, number 8 hitter Cameron Meehan, who really wants to get some revenge. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts against Adorno. The tying runs are on base. Rollins trailing 3-0 here in the 7th. First pitch to Meehan. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball there, 0-1. Adorno, who has a 2.98 ERA coming into the game. 0-1 to Meehan. Hit in the air, center field on a line, and it drops for a base hit. Santucci comes in and scores. Throw to third. Out!
Yep.
They got the force as the runner Smith wasn't sure if it was going to be caught, and he gets nailed on the relay. 8-6-5. And a force play at third base.
That
is not going to be scored as a base hit, but a run does score.
Ty Manning makes that out possible. He sells the fact that he's going to be able to make this catch.
Now batting the catcher, Jared.
Watch the center fielder. That freezes the runner and gives him time.
Well, yeah, that's bad base running because, I mean, if you're Smith, you got to go halfway, and then you go to third base. You don't go to tag up on a line drive to center field. So I don't know what he was thinking, and it cost his team. A run comes in. It's 3-1. Now here is Herron grounding to third, fielded by Nickel. The second one, Sutton to first. In time, a double play, and that retires the side. 5-4-3 off the bat of Herron, and just like that, the inning is over, so only 1 run comes in. A base running mistake by Rollins. They're down by 2 at the 7th inning stretch. Well, that was a wild sequence there at the top of the 7th. 1 run for Rollins, but it could have been so much more, Lincoln, because, I mean, Parker Smith was going back to tag at second when he shouldn't have been. And instead of having a base hit and the bases loaded there and nobody out, you get an out, and then on the very first pitch to the number 9 hitter, Herron, he grounds into a 5-4-3 double play, and that kills the rally. I mean, it could have been really a great situation for Rollins to be in, and very quickly it turned into a poor situation where they only score the 1 run. Now we've got a little bit of a delay as we are waiting for the pitcher for Rollins, Jalen Whitehead, to go out to the mound, and even his whole team, nobody has gone out to the field. Not sure what's going on here, Lincoln. Oh, they're going to take a look at the replay. Okay, they are. So they're taking a look at replay on that play at third. But here's the thing.
No, they can't look at.
It's too late.
No, the only thing they could be looking at is that double play a moment ago.
Okay.
No,
a reminder.
A reminder. Well, the only thing I can think of is that initial out at second. If maybe you aren't really on the bag when you get to collect the ball. But again, reminder: we do have replay here in Division II. Once you are into the championship, coaches have 2 challenges. If you get it correct, you get to keep that challenge.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this play, I don't think. He's
well,
on the bag.
If he's on that bag.
He's out by a mile at first.
I think the only thing they can be looking at is right there at second base.
I got another theory. There's a possibility that the head coach called for replay on the previous play, and they did not function quick enough to get to the replay because the first pitch was hit for that double play you just saw.
Yeah.
That was so quick.
So
I don't know.
I don't believe they. I know they can't go back and look at that play once.
Unless one of the
next pitch
umpires was
right.
waving and we didn't see it, saying, hey, we need to look at that replay. Just a theory. I'm not sure. Yeah. Because it happened very quickly that the next pitch was hit for a double play. Well, we got out as a signal.
They're pointing
play.
at first base. Yeah, it's a double play.
He was out by 20 feet. I'm not sure what was going on there.
We'll dive into the intricacies throughout the week. But really the thing to have challenged was before that, as you were inclined to, the play at third.
Right, which was a close play, and it took a long time for the third base umpire, Drew Eaton, to make the call. I mean, he was looking at that for a while, and then he made the call.
Yeah, they were just asking whether the foot had been pulled off of first base.
Okay.
But obviously, you and I believe it was a closer and probably a better challenge had it been the previous play.
Let's take a look at what they were looking at.
They were looking at first,
Yeah.
whether the first baseman's foot was pulled off the bag by this throw. And the answer is no.
Yeah, it's kind of a reach right there. I mean, I think they were desperate to have something happen in that inning, and it just didn't happen. And now we are getting an argument because maybe my theory is true. And I'm feeling like I think Coach John Sjogren wanted replay on that play at third. He didn't want replay on that play at first. That's my guess. And that's why he's upset. That's just my guess.
That would have been the time.
And he might have asked an umpire for that replay, and everything happened so quickly. The first pitch was thrown, and the batter hit it. But the problem is that once they hit that, I don't know that you can go back in time. It's not back to the future.
It's a moot point.
Yeah.
We're pretty confident we're moving on to the next half inning here.
Although they are talking about it. Look, I mean, they've got a conference there. I mean, you got all four umpires. Josh Gottlieb, the home plate umpire. Scott Wyckoff, first base. Rick Cacciatore at second. And Drew Eaton, third base umpire. Rick Cacciatore is the crew chief, second base umpire. So, you know, he's the one who is really in control of this. And I'm not sure what they're going to decide. Unless, I mean, if an umpire did get a request and didn't relay it quick enough, I don't know if you can go back in time. I don't think you can. And
he's pointing at first. This is still...
He is pointing at first, but I think
Yeah.
he didn't want that. I mean, he is hot. Coach Sjogren is really upset. You don't see a lot of arguments with umpires these days with replay. That kind of settles it, but if you don't watch the replay that he wants you to watch, it could be a problem. Or if you didn't see the replay the way he saw it live. Maybe he does think the foot
I think
was pulled.
I think that's more likely the case. His first base coach.
Let's go back and see this other play that I think maybe Coach Sjogren is upset about. Is he safe or out here? It's a force play, by the way. He's out.
I'm pretty sure he's still talking about the play at first.
Yeah. He did point at first quite a bit.
This is always the least helpful part of any broadcast when we're just speculating, but we are better at lip reading now that they're not wearing masks anymore.
Well, that was a key inning, to say the least, for Rollins to not get more than the one run. But they basically can blame poor base running there.
Well, and Jalen Whitehead just had to sit there and wait for a while now for this bottom of the inning.
Yeah, and he has been rolling, even though his team trails by 2 runs. He's pitched so well, especially lately. He's retired 11 in a row, mostly making his defense do the work as he pours in a called strike to Tucker Burton. 0-1. Burton is 1 for 2, a single and a run scored, and he has struck out. 4 Ks, 1 walk, and 4 hits allowed by Whitehead today. That's whacked foul down the right field side.
Well, I mentioned Southern Arkansas has not been able to grow that 3-0 lead. In fact, we just saw Rollins cut into it with a run. We'll see if that lights a spark for the Mule Riders.
Whitehead looking for his 5th K, and he gets it. Second time that he strikes out Burton, 1 away.
just could not lay off of it.
12 in a row retired by Whitehead. No base runner since the 3rd inning, and we're in the 7th. So he has kept his team in the game.
Burton tries to hold up, but his momentum betrays him.
It was Burton who started that 2-out rally in the 2nd with a single, and then this man Lyles singled, and the man on deck, Connor Allen, hit a 3-run homer to left for all of the scoring for Southern Arkansas. That came in the 2nd inning, and they have been silenced since the 3rd as far as base runners. 0-1 to Lyles, 1 for 2, a single. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lyles, the sophomore left fielder from Wake Village, Texas. Yeah, that was about a 3/4 swing there. A lot of these hitters have been fooled by Whitehead and the movement he has on his pitches.
That purple parade you saw was the Golden Rams of Westchester out of Pennsylvania. Our champions from that one year we went to Grand Prairie, Texas in Division II baseball.
2-2 now. You can definitely see the composure of a grad student on the mound in Whitehead. As you mentioned, the South Region Pitcher of the Year, the Sunshine State Conference Pitcher of the Year. He is showing it now. Strike 3 called. 2 Ks in a row here in the 7th, 6 in the game now for Whitehead. 2nd time that he Ks Lyles.
In terms of our strikeout battle between the pitchers, that'll inch Whitehead up by 1.
And he didn't let that delay bother him at all in between innings.
No, you wondered if that might ultimately backfire.
Here's Connor Allen, the hero for the Mule Riders, back in the 2nd with that 3-run homer. There's a strike, 0-1. It was his 11th homer of the year. Only the 6th home run given up all season by Whitehead. And that's in over 100 innings this year.
Allen's hoping it proves to be his 2nd game-winning home run this year. That ball hits him while he's in the box.
So that's a foul ball, 0-2. So that's about a home run every 20 innings or so that Whitehead gives up. And in this day and age of baseball, that's pretty good.
It's when it's all or nothing with some of these swings, focusing on launch angle.
Yeah, but he gave up that 1 3-run homer that he has lamented all day in the back of his mind, but he has not let it affect him. He's looking to strike out the side in order here. The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Wow, what an inning for Whitehead, who appears to be getting better as the game goes on. Strikes out the side in order, 7 Ks, 14 in a row, retired, keeping his team in the game. We go to the 8th, 3-1, Southern Arkansas. Well, for Jeremy Adorno for Southern Arkansas, he was able to get out of a jam in the 1st inning, a couple of strikeouts in a row there. K'd 2 more hitters in the 2nd, had 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. And then some trouble, you would think. It looked like it was going to be at least a run and then more in that inning, but bad base running by Parker Smith led to a forced play at second base and then a double play grounder off the bat of Heron. So Adorno got out of that with only the 1 run allowed. So give him credit. His team still leads by 2 runs as we go to the 8th inning.
Yeah, base running miscue, and probably on that double play you get to score a run if it's not the final out. They may have cost themselves at least 1 run along the way.
But still a lot of time to go. And the lead off the 8th inning, the top of the order, Rubin, Acuff, and Torres for Rollins.
Rubin's trying to lead off for a 3rd time this ball game by reaching base.
And he got on an error in the 1st inning and then fly to right and then singled in the 6th. And that led off the inning. The freshman leadoff hitter, who I mentioned he's been playing with a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. They wanted to redshirt him, but the team was off to a slow start, so they said, hey, can you play? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. So no red shirt. Instead, he's here at the Division II championship, and he swings and misses. Tried to hold up, but couldn't. 0-1.
Labrum's not that important for a third baseman, is it?
I can only imagine battling through the pain of that. And when you check a swing like that, it can't feel good on his left shoulder. Adorno deals, swing and a miss, big rip, 0-2. Joey Rubin, the nephew of former major leaguer Chris Colabello, who played 2 years with the Twins and 2 years with the Blue Jays. Probably learned a lot from his uncle, did Joey. Trying to get on base here, but behind the count, 0-2. Adorno looking for K number 6. Popped up, second base, sunshine for Sutton. One away. Still not going with the sunglasses, but he's got it figured out.
Winner of this game is going to have a couple of days to cherish it.
The shortstop, Chase Acuff.
It's a lot of sunshine right now, and I think in right field and second base, you can see he's blocking it with his hand. Usually you see a player block it with his glove and hold the glove up. Generally not with a hand like that, because now you've got the sun right in your eyes. Here's Acuff, who takes the ball 1 for 3, a single, grounded to short, and a nice play made by Orr, and he's also grounded to second.
You think Sutton's really left-handed?
I don't know, but I'd be putting the glove hand up there, and then you can keep the glove blocking the sun and then catch the ball right there.
Sutton right now defensively is positioned almost right behind second base.
Yeah, all the way up the middle. The outfielders are not playing very deep against Acuff. Not a big power hitter. He is trying to do anything to get on base here, because if he does, the potential tying run comes to the plate in Torres, who's on deck.
If you're Rollins and you're counting outs, you're down to 5 right now.
Adorno deals. Hit in the air, shallow left for the shortstop Orr. A couple of pop-ups for 2 outs here in the 8th. "96 pitches for Adorno."
The second baseman, Adam.
And they're starting to get a little bit of action in that bullpen for Southern Arkansas, maybe for the 9th inning. Adorno might be your best option, though, the way he's been throwing all day. Torres 0 for 3. A strikeout, a pop-up, and a fly ball. Want to know the count.
You mentioned that not every successful team has a great closer, but Southern Arkansas does have Isaiah Haynes, a sophomore, who's really been a mainstay at the back end of this bullpen this year, including 3 postseason saves.
5 total saves on the year. 1-0 to Torres. The pitch. One hopper to shortstop for Orr. 1, 2, 3. Go the Tars in the 8th inning against Adorno. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Southern Arkansas looking to add to a 3-1 lead over Rollins in Game 1 of the Division II Baseball Championship that has featured great pitching so far. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano here at the Division II Baseball Championship. There's a team that's playing tomorrow. Angelo State taking a look at what's going on now, and you see some action in the Rollins bullpen. Tate, Stone, Frasina is in the bullpen for Rollins, but I'll tell you what, their starter has done a fantastic job. Whitehead has retired 14 in a row going into the bottom of the 8th here, facing Riley Orr, cold strike, 0-1. But his team is trailing, Rollins trailing Southern Arkansas 3-1. And really, Lincoln, this game has come down to base running, believe it or not. I mean, there's been great pitching on both ends, and the home run by Allen, the 3-run shot, you would say that's the difference. But for Rollins, they could have had a chance to come back, but they had a runner picked off first in the 4th, and then they had the base running mistake with a runner at second base getting nailed at third on a force play on a ball that dropped in for a base hit to center normally, but that runner Parker Smith was trying to go to second to tag up, and that was costly.
Yeah, I think realistically it's a 3-2 ball game.
Yeah. But, could have been more when you think about it, because that was an out and wouldn't have been an out. You had a double play after that. You never know what could have happened. Riley Orr swings and misses, strikes out. That's 4 Ks in a row for Whitehead, who has retired 15 in a row. You can't say that he hasn't done his job.
Top of the order, second base.
8 strikeouts now for Whitehead.
Obviously, Whitehead hopes he has to pitch in the bottom of the ninth. That means the Tars will have found at least 2 more runs. Southern Arkansas is okay if this is the last inning they bat.
Liner to center field. That's a base hit. Dropping in front of Meehan as Chris Sutton gets his first hit of the D2 championship. 1 for 4 today. Only the 5th hit against Whitehead and the first base runner since the 3rd inning. That snaps 15 batters in a row that went down. That's the rare one that was left over the middle.
We'll see if Southern Arkansas tries to manufacture an extra insurance run. I think you'd be inclined still to bring Adorno out, and then the first sign of any struggles from Adorno, then you go to your closer.
Here's Brett McGee. He takes low and away, 1-0. 1 for 3, had a pop fly that dropped in center for a base hit. Only 5 base hits for Southern Arkansas as they lead 3-1. Only 5 hits today for Rollins. It's been a pitcher's duel all the way. Sutton with a decent lead at first, but not going. That pitch is low for a ball.
If you told Rollins you're going to hold Southern Arkansas to 3 runs, I think they'd be pretty pleased knowing that Southern Arkansas, the fewest runs they had scored in any game this postseason was 7.
They average 10 runs a game for the whole season, tied for 5th in the nation. So to be only at 3 runs on 1 swing of the bat, it's pretty remarkable. A great accomplishment for Whitehead. That's skied into shallow left center. Who's going to get this one? Calling is the center fielder, Meehan, and he makes the catch. That's out number 2.
Again, both of our pitchers are first-team All-Americans, and today they're showing why.
Absolutely. One's a grad student in Whitehead on the mound now, and one's a freshman in Adorno for Southern Arkansas.
Yeah,
here's Brandon Nickel.
The freshman being the National Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah. And he has shown why. Nickel 0 for 2 with a walk. Flied out to deep right his first trip, then walked and then popped up to short. That's fouled back. Nickel has a count of 0-1. Both bullpens busy now. 2 down, runner at first. Whitehead deals to Nickel, and he skies it on the right side. Again, the sun could be an issue for Torres, but he's got the sunglasses, and that does it for Southern Arkansas in the 8th inning. No runs hit, no errors, 1 left. It'll be Jesslyn Whitehead, followed by Santucci and Smith. Last chance for the Tars coming up. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. We go to the 9th inning in our first game of the 2022 Division II Baseball Championship. And that man, Jeremy Adorno, has been fantastic. Only given up 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 5, walked 1, hit a batter, and trying to go all the way to go to 15-0 on the year and get his team into the winner's bracket. Trying to win this game, but he's got work to do with the big hitters coming up, 4, 5, and 6 in the order for Rollins.
That's Santos Sosa, the sophomore who has one save this year in the bullpen. Look, there have not been a lot of save situations for Southern Arkansas this year. You mentioned a team that scores 10 runs on average per ball game, but you understand why Adorno is out there looking for the complete game.
Santos was the closer last year as a freshman. Hasn't been closing as much this year, but he could have a chance to close this, but we'll see. Jesslyn Whitehead to lead it off 0 for 3. He has struck out, grounded to second, fly to right against Adorno. Pitch number 99 for Adorno is in there for a strike, 0-1. 3 runs, 5 hits, and an error for Southern Arkansas. They started the game by making an error at shortstop by Orr. But after that, Adorno recovering, and he's been great the entire game. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for Rollins. That is lined to right field with a lot of spin on it. Diving and making the catch is Allen. What a catch by Connor Allen, who did it with a bat earlier with a 3-run homer, and now he does it with the glove.
If he plays this conservatively, which a lot of right fielders would choose to do, all of a sudden that means the next bat up has a chance to tie the ball game. Allen realizes this ball's going to die down even if he misses it. Has a center fielder close enough, it's worth the gamble, and it pays off.
I'll tell you, probably the hardest part of that play was the spin on the ball, because that was an inside-out swing by Whitehead, and it was spinning a lot. The infield now shifting to the right side, an overshift against Santucci, and he fouls it back 0-1. He is one man who's got to be feeling bad about what happened earlier when he got picked off first. 2 for 3, 2 singles, a run scored, but that pickoff play kind of looms a little bit in a tight game like this.
Well, Santucci has scored the only run for Rollins, and if they're going to have a chance, they basically need him to score again.
1 out in the 9th inning. 3-1 Southern Arkansas. Swing and a miss. He was behind the fastball of Adorno. 0-2. 91 miles an hour on the gun there. Adorno has 7 complete games this year. Looking for an 8th.
The third baseman is now playing on the opposite side of second base.
Yeah. The overshift with 3 infielders on the right side. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him with a high heater. And Santucci is out number 2. 6th strikeout for Adorno, and he's 1 out away from a victory.
Now batting the right fielder,
It's up to Parker Smith to keep it alive for Rollins. The high heat. Smith has struck out. He's walked and been hit by a pitch, so he's been aboard twice. Has to get on here to keep things alive for the Tars. It takes low, 1-0.
He's yet to put a ball in play. A strikeout, the walk. He's been hit by that pitch back in the 7th.
Ryan Coleman is on deck hoping for a chance. 2 down, nobody on here in the 9th inning. A 2-run lead for Southern Arkansas. Adorno ready. 1-0 to Smith. Looper, right field. Here comes Allen again. Second baseman going out, and Sutton has it to end the ball game. Sutton ran a long way to get that one, and Southern Arkansas hangs on to beat Rollins 3-1 in Game 1 of the Division II Baseball Championship. It was a tight one with some great pitching, and the big homer by Connor Allen in the 2nd held up.
3 runs on 5 hits, 1 error for the Mule Riders. 1 run on 5 hits, no error.
2 nice plays out there in shallow right.
Chris Sutton's had some nice range today, battling that sun all day long this afternoon. It brings in that 3rd and final out, and with that, Southern Arkansas, we're not going to see them until Tuesday in the winner's bracket. For Rollins, no game tomorrow. First elimination game on the bracket will be on Monday.
So congrats to Southern Arkansas, now 47-11 on the year. They've won 10 in a row, and Rollins snaps its 5-game winning streak, as they will have to win out the rest of the way if they're going to win a national championship. No room for error the rest of the way, and they can lament the fact that they made some base running blunders in this game. Otherwise, who knows?
But look, last year Wingate lost to Angelo State on day 1 as the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Came back to win the whole thing.
Each team had 5 base hits. Southern Arkansas wins by 2 runs. Coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time, it'll be Point Loma, the number 2 seed, against number 7 seed Illinois Springfield. We hope you'll join us for that game, the second game of this tournament. For Lincoln Rose and our entire crew, I'm Joe Castellano saying so long for now. From Cary, North Carolina, congratulations to Southern Arkansas, 3-1 winners over Rollins at the D2 Baseball Championship.